Hey, Bob Squad, it's me, Bob. Clearly, what's going on, everybody? Skipping a theme song this week. I'm gonna do. I feel weird doing a theme song and covering, obviously, what you can tell by the photo, what we're gonna cover up top. Now, obviously, since in a year and a half, plenty of wrestlers from my childhood and before me, of course, pass away. I mean, it happens, but it's not so often that it's one of them from. I'll say a '90s star mostly that like anyone of the age group listening to this and younger, it passes away. So Razor Ramon, obviously, you already know this. We lost a few days ago. Not much I can say about Razor Ramon than or Scott Hall rather than anybody else has already said. I didn't know him or never knew him or anything like that. But from all accounts, it seemed that he was actually a pretty good guy who clearly had a bunch of problems, and it's a bummer that we lost him because he was a favorite during a time especially when WWF was not the cool thing to watch. When Razor showed up in middle of '92, by that point, I mean Hulk wasn't around. The Savage was not. He was actually champion. He was not the main guy to use. Warrior came back for a stint and went away and whatever. So, but all of those throwbacks, oddly enough, Ric Flair was there. But really, it was a new day and age. Excuse me. So, really, '93, '94, '95, and a little early '96 were the main WWF Razor Ramon times. And to be a wrestling fan during that time was actually really hard because if you watched a show, if you went to one of those 4 hour long house shows where they taped like 4 weeks of TV, you always knew like, okay, it's Brett and Sean are going to give us everything. All the good matches are usually going to have them related somehow. Brett, Sean, Owen, probably Bulldog, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Sean Waltman, Razor Ramon. And Diesel was an attraction too, and of course Yokozuna was around. Undertaker was a big attraction. I mean, mainly it was like Brett, Shawn, and Undertaker was the reason to keep watching, but people forget. Like, Razor Ramon was a staple. He was one of the few guys in that very colorful, but maybe sometimes too colorful, strange era that Razor was cool. And amazing performer. I don't have to tell you what kind of contributions he made when he went to the started the whole NWO, the Invasion WCW, and turned the business on its ear, and was the beginning of stuff being cool in wrestling again. You saw football players wearing NWO shirts and that kind of stuff. But that is a bummer. That is a bummer, and not to start it off in a somber way, but I always start off with a theme song and then let you know that the show began with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. It did not begin with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. It just had a kind of a graphic that faded in and out. And then Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, oddly enough. But I think this show went... this show goes on the air Monday Night Raw live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I think roughly 8 p.m. Eastern Time is basically when Twitter found out that Razor Ramon or Scott Hall, I have to stop calling him Razor Ramon, that's fine. Pardon me. I just had Tostitos. I just had some chips and cheese dip, and they're stuck in my throat. Hang on a second. What a heartfelt speech. Bob is getting all emotional. Nope, chips. Just chips. I'll probably sneak into the song at some time anyway, just to mess with you. But Kevin Owens opens the show with a hey-yo. A little tribute to Scott Hall there. And the audience didn't react at all. They just kept... Did they not notice? Did they not pay attention to what's going on? I thought it'd get like a huge thing. When I first heard that he said that, I thought to myself, I bet they exploded when he did that. How's he going to continue to cut a heel promo when they explode for him for doing that at the top? Yeah, they didn't do shit. So, okay, thanks, people. I forget what city they were in. Whatever. And this is terrific. Kevin Owens is talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. How Kevin Owens, Austin will be on his KO show. And they cut wrestling promos, as they like to condescendingly say. That's what I hear. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, that's what modern wrestling fans like to put in quotes. No wrestling, like it's a dirty word, like they're better than us, like you know better with your stupid leg slaps, you fake idiots. Wrestling, yeah, you're damn right. They showed the 1.5 minute, 1 minute promo of Austin getting out of his car and cutting a wrestling promo, and then Kevin Owens cut a wrestling promo back in the ring, and you know what? It was awesome. It sounded like it's not even for a match, and it sounded like two guys who want to fight because they have an issue with one another and want to kick each other's ass. They each got a problem with the other guy, even though it's such a silly and contrived problem as Kevin Owens randomly started trashing Texas for no reason. Still, yeah, you're damn right. They both cut wrestling promos, and it's one of the most interesting things I'm looking forward to. And I prefer this over the match. I don't want Austin to wrestle a match and taint the entire legacy of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I want to see these two go nose to nose, look each other in the eyeball, and there's going to be some fists and some stunners and some beers. And I could predict, I could write that, I can envision the entire segment in my head right now. I don't care. And I don't care. And for no reason, Kevin Owens stuns a cameraman. I didn't have a problem with him doing that. My issue, nobody ran out to help the cameraman. No officials, no other cameramen, no security, no referees, no nothing. Just screw that guy. They just showed him selling. He was a wrestler, by the way he took the bump. So, because he took the bump on the back, on the high up on the back of his shoulders and went backwards. So that's fine. I mean, he should be a wrestler, but I'm just saying it's. But then he just sold it, but no one ran out, so they don't care about that employee. They just cut to wherever the hell they cut to. They cut to the back. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins do this entire show. By the way, it's a little bit late at night, so if I'm not talking as loud, I'm gonna up the volume on this when I edit it. But I don't want to yell and be the. I like being the only one of my neighbors who isn't a loud douchebag. I like to keep that for myself. I have new neighbors I do not like. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. I've never met... I literally... Chris, you'll get a kick out of this if you're listening. I literally just bumped into the singing land shark. That was the noise, if you heard a noise off camera. I dropped my notebook and banged into the singing land shark. So, there you go. He's always around. I've never met a smart, loud person. You know what I mean? No one's ever wowed me at a high volume. I never had my mind blown at 60 decibels before. I've never heard like two neighbors like having like a yelling discussion. Like, babe, yo, babe, where are you? I'm over here, babe. Where are you? We live in a studio apartment, babe. Okay, babe. Socrates once said you can judge a society by the way it treats its animals. Like, no, they don't say... Loud people don't say smart things. The same way quiet people don't whisper in your ear at a party. Whoa, shots. Like, no, they don't do that. No, the girl, the head of the bachelorette party, the one who isn't getting married but running the party, the first maid, I don't know what the fuck they're called. I haven't been married. I got a wedding invitation that said Bob Hansen, -1. No, the bachelorette who runs into the party, like, she's not going to blow your mind with something loud. She's just going to run into the bar. Yeah, woo, bitches. Let's do some shots, whores. You know, maybe before we try to fix someone, first we have to fix ourselves. Put on your penis hats. Like, no, they're not. Loud people aren't smart. They don't say smart things to you. Okay, let's move on. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are backstage, and KO is giving Seth a pep talk so Seth can think of a reason for him to be on WrestleMania, even though he's the biggest star of the company, who's in every segment forever. But there's no WrestleMania thing for him. I don't know. Anyway, there's a recap of Madison Square Garden, again with Roman beating up Brock Lesnar on the steps. There's just a video, so we see their packages. LOL. Seth Rollins is out in the ring again. And I really, then there had to be a Hulu edit. I'm sure there was stuff before that because I like to think there's no way they went from Owens talking to backstage Owens and Seth talking to in the ring Seth talking. There's no way they would, but there must have been a match of some sort, as my friend Danhausen would say. He doesn't know me. I'd like to be friends with him. Have his number. Seth Rollins is laughing a whole lot, and he says he has an idea. And he brings out Kevin Owens, and he said he'll have a talk show, and his guest should be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not kidding. And suggests they call it Freakin' Speakin' with Seth Rollins, which is kind of amusing. And of course, Owens is confused at this idea being stupid, and he is correct. And Sonya Deville comes out and makes a match that is weird and stupid, and again, Owens is correct. She says, "Why don't you two wrestle in the main event of Raw later? And the winner will have Steve Austin as his guest at the fake talk show at WrestleMania." We're fighting for the right to talk. Do you see what we're doing here? And I actually ended up loving that match and most of this Raw. That was on Hulu anyway. Anyway, we are backstage again, and Kevin Owens is there. Did no one else show up? Kevin Owens tells Sonya Deville that the match doesn't make any sense. And once again, he's got a point. Okay. Now, the Mysterios are here, and they wrestle the Hurt Business. And Logan Paul, of course, is on Raw, and nobody cares. Logan Paul and The Miz are on commentary. I fast-forwarded. I'm not listening to Miz, who's bad when he does commentary, because he's just a yeller and interrupter. He's got the fake charisma. And Logan Paul ain't any better, so I wasn't going to listen to that. There was some kind of distraction that didn't work, and the Mysterios beat the Hurt Business. Okie dokie, fine. And something happened. Oh, they tried to set up Paul Logan for the 619, but of course Miz pulled him out of the way to make that the thing we want to see at WrestleMania. So I'm sure the dad and son will give Paul Logan the double 619 at WrestleMania. 1, 2, 3. I would imagine Logan Paul eats the pin here, for fuck's sake. Edge is... What is he doing? I watched this like over a day ago, so... I had a show last night at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, so I couldn't record this yesterday, but whenever this happens, I always forget what the hell we're talking about. Edge is... I wrote packing? Pacing? What is he doing? I don't know what Edge... Oh, Edge's package. Okay, we saw Edge's package, his throbbing, blue-veined package. Bob, stop it. And before Edge can make his way to the ring, we announced that Queen Charmel is going into the Hall of Fame at WWE. I don't give a shit. Okay. She seems nice, but I've given up on the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to be covering the Hall of Fame on the hardest part of the ring. I'm going to have to do it 2 nights. There'll have to be an episode for each of the 2 WrestleMania nights, and that's the most I can give you. I don't know when it airs or what it airs on or what channel or whatever. It's just one of those things I'll end up trying to watch later, and they'll replay the highlights, of course, but the good stuff is never the highlights. The good stuff is the things that get messed up. But in the last year, they made everyone do 5 minutes instead of 40, which is good, but also, I mean, less interesting, but whatever. Edge comes out to the ring and he has new music. They're trying to do everything they can to get us to boo him, so that's fair. People like his music. They know it. It makes them warm and cozy, comfy. And Edge has new music, and it starts... The only problem with it is they have to have the guy's voice in it. So it's Edge saying, "You think you know me?" And then new music. He's evil now. He still has the lighting from 1995 Undertaker. Edge is on a mission to stop Kama from melting down the urn with the help of his creatures of the night. That's what Edge is doing. And Edge is showing off those acting classes because he's evil grinning guy now. I always call that character, every time there's an evil rich character who's like some kind of like techie tycoon, I always call that guy Elon Bezos every time they have that character in every TV or movie now. That's my guy. Like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. You understood that. I didn't need to explain that. I apologize, Bob Squad. A blonde lady is back. And she talks to Bianca Belair. And what did Edge say? Wait a minute. Let me go. What the hell? Did Edge say anything important? Yeah, he doesn't like AJ Styles. And AJ's not there. And thankfully the Edge thing was brief because The other guy's not there, so they moved on, but people got to see Edge. A blonde lady talks to Bianca Belair, and this is my favorite Bianca Belair promo of all time. It wasn't 2 minutes long. Bianca explained the hair thing with her Bianca having crazy long hair and how she has it tied in a way and why she whipped Becky with it. Bianca justified her existence as a babyface, and it made perfect sense. She explained, hey, the only reason I did the whip thing, I gave Becky the hair whip, is because Becky grabbed my hair. I never do it unless someone touches my hair first. And it made perfect sense. It justified her as a babyface. It said, hey, it's not illegal anyway. It's kind of more of a bending of the rules. Like, I did it, but I never do it unless you mess with it. And Becky messed with it, and that was my issue. And she got her ass handed to her for messing with it. Otherwise, don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. And Bianca was believable. She didn't say EST 14 times like she usually does. She said it once at the end. Perfect. She reminded us. Perfect. I didn't have a problem with that. I'm not going to cry if I ever hear it again. I'm just saying she let us know that Becky crossed the line, and she dealt with that. And she's going to beat Becky at WrestleMania and shut Becky up for good. And that comes to fruition later. The best Bianca promo on them. It sounded like more bullet points and less written to me. I don't really know. But then again, it was brief. Maybe someone did just write it out. I don't know the answer, but I liked it. So whatever happened, I hope to do that again. Doudrop has music. I didn't know that. She comes out with Nikki ASH. And Nikki ASH and Doudrop, I think they had a little promo-ish thing, like a minute long. Maybe it was like a picture-in-picture thing during her entrance. I really don't know. But Nikki can't stop saying superhero, and Doudrop can't stop wiggling her fingers. They both have a serious affliction that hopefully they can see somebody. Maybe the therapist who wears the same suit for 10 weeks that helped Alexa Bliss wrestle one match in Saudi Arabia and disappear. Maybe they can see that therapist. I do not know the answer to that question. Bianca Belair wrestles Doudrop. Nikki ASH was not a factor here. Bianca, again, for like the third or fourth time on TV, does her finish to Doudrop, and people lose their shit every time. It's so impressive. And Bianca wins 1, 2, 3. Becky shows up dressed like Emperor Snoke from The Last Jedi. And Force Awakens, and that might be that as it may. Wait a minute, was he? No, he was only a projection in Force Awakens. Mark, is that right? You're listening. Yeah, he was a Snoke? The guy who wears Blanche's robe from the Golden Girls. The evil guy they cut in half in Last Jedi. Yeah, you only actually see him in Last Jedi, I'm pretty sure. Let me know, Mark, in the comments. Oh, I love doing that. Anyway, Emperor Snoke attacks Bianca Belair and does the thing where she puts Bianca's like neck and face in a chair and smashes the chair into the post. The rod underneath the chair dented, which really helped it. I hope Bianca's okay. They sold it like she was dead, and officials ran out right away. I thought all of that was great. We know Becky hurt her voice box for real at a live event, as they like to call them, in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I've been at the hospital in Allentown, Pennsylvania before when I cut my thumb off. It's back now, but yeah, St. Luke's. I showed up with a rental car full of blood. That was a charming day, but I'm a better man now. Then I went bananas and started buying toys. How about that? I got a bone infection. We had to put a tube in my arm from my bicep to my heart. And I got really bummed. And I started ordering 25th anniversary G.I. Joes. I already had a Cobra Commander, but that was the only one I had. So I got Spirit. I got Snow Job. I got the Baroness Lady J 50th anniversary 2-pack. And the Battle Armor Cobra Commander. I think that's it. I can't think of anybody else that I would have got. Yeah, then I got a bunch more, and then I got 60 more. Okay, move on. RK Bro, there's a package, there's a party. Randy Orton and Riddle are in the ring, and Yeah, they're having a party that Randy Orton threw badly. There's popcorn on the floor of the ring and balloons that are half inflated and not really flying, and a big cup full of soda just open, which you think is going to knock over and spill everywhere, and it never does. But it was, I thought, someone's getting in the face. Anyway, Randy Orton said he'd throw. He admits Matt Riddle is his friend, and he threw the party. And the Street Profits enter, and they're bad now. We don't know why. And the Street Profits make a WrestleMania match with themselves with RK Bro. Why doesn't Seth Rollins do this if you can do that? God, I hate this sometimes. Anyway, this leads into a big match, not a very big match, with Riddle versus Montez Ford. Yeah, I think it's a big DQ. Hold on, I'm burping up nachos. Alright. Oh. I didn't even bother writing it down. Holy shit. You're kidding me. I didn't care that. I cared that much, huh? But in my memory, Otis and Chad Gable of the Alpha Academy run out and make the match a DQ and beat down the good guys. Or maybe Riddle won and beat. Either way, the Alpha Academy beat everybody up. I forgot what the actual finish was. The match gets 17,000 stars. I don't remember a thing about this match. There's a Scott Hall video. They put together a video package. And then there was a Razor chant. And I don't mean this to be funny, but there was a funny-ish moment. Sometimes wrestling fans stab themselves in the foot and they don't realize it. Because they're trying to figure out what to chant with Scott Hall, who has a 2-syllable name, which is really hard. And like with Bret Hart, they would chant "Let's go Bret," but you can't chant "Let's go Scott," because Scott's not Scott went. Okay, he's not coming. So, so finally, I literally watched the guy, some guy with a mustache, just start going Razor, and then everyone chanted Razor. I was like, oh, that works, because they didn't know what to do. Or thank yous. I think somebody was trying "Thank you, Scott," but we can't. That doesn't really work. And you're not going to chant "Rest in Peace." Oh, that's going to be... I've been saying this for years, and I feel bad. I'm not trying to be funny, but yes, I am. I'm an attention whore. But when The Undertaker dies, it's going to be weird. Because how the hell do you make that tasteful video? If you don't. It's going to be so odd. But I don't have to deal with that. Kevin Owens enters. Of course, Kevin Owens is back. And there's a video. My God. There's a video for like the third time tonight. We're seeing the triple tag team match from a week or two ago when Orton and I think last week when Orton and Riddle win the thing against the Alphas and Seth and KO, because these two angles have split off. We saw that so many replays, and of course there was a replay tonight of what Kevin Owens said earlier. We just have to replay and replay and replay. And we saw at least one replay of what Kevin Owens said 2 Raws ago about calling out Steve Austin, and then, oh God, it didn't end. An Irish guy is back, and he's talking to Seth Rollins, and he tells Seth, "I'm Irish." And then Seth Rollins said, "You're Irish." They're probably not. I'm paraphrasing. Seth and Kevin Owens took this bombastic idea for a match and did a wonderful, amazing job of making it look like two guys fighting, maybe not for a championship. That's fine. They made it look like two guys fighting for something that was important to them, and that made it feel a little more important when watching it on TV, on Hulu, limited commercial interruption. That made it a little better. And they're both great wrestlers against two heels, which is really hard, but they both made us feel, and they didn't do too many crazy, dumb things, really. They just looked like guys trying to win, and I love this finish. Seth inadvertently bumps the referee out of the ring, but the referee doesn't die. The referee's just out of the ring for a second, so when Seth rolls up Kevin Owens, he has Owens pinned, but it takes a couple of seconds for the referee to get back into the ring, so when the ref starts the count, Owens has the excuse, so Owens would have been pinned for a 3 count, but really, he kicked out at like what would have been like a 5 or something like that. So it shows us that Rollins had him beat, And when Rollins can't believe it, turns around, boot, stunner, 1, 2, 3, and they go off the air very quickly because I don't know, maybe time or there was just nothing left to do. I don't fucking know. But it just showed Seth's sad, stunned look. He's not going to WrestleMania. Clearly he is. Does Lashley really hurt? Does he have a concussion? Because he's the only big enough name with nothing to do that hasn't been on TV in a month, roughly, a few weeks, whatever it is. Does that sound right to you? I don't know if I honestly have no idea if that was an out or he just got dinged or... Oh, he hurt his shoulder. Oh shit, that's right. He hurt his shoulder, didn't he? God damn, that's not good. And Big E. Should I say anything else about Owens and Seth? Yeah, I don't know. Are they just going to split the talk show and have Owens and Seth get face-to-face with Austin and get stunned? I don't know the answer to that. Does Owens... They said it was on Saturday, I think. Does Owens have... Maybe it's a big swerve, bro. I hate the swerves. Maybe Owens does have his talk show moment and he gets to interview Steve Austin on that Saturday, and then he's pissed off and gets one up because Seth gets a match with Steve Austin that Sunday. Which is kind of a fun thing to do because Owens is a guy, it's fun to watch, and Seth too. It's fun to watch either one of them gloat because they're the cat that swallowed the canary, or get super screwed over and pout about it. Back and forth, back and forth. They're both so much fun. It's so much fun to torture both those characters emotionally. So that's a fun thing if they have to. I don't want them to do the match, I'm just saying. I'm thinking of ways to do Seth will somehow be involved in this. I really don't know the answer. Maybe Seth comes to the ring first and tries to steal the spotlight, and they argue, and I don't know. But yeah, the easy thing to do is shoehorn Seth in it, and Austin stuns them both a few times, and blah, 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 blah. But, God, that's such an easy out. It's so lame. I hope they don't do that. Come up with something else. No one else doesn't have a match. I don't know anymore. I don't know the answer. Seth could just be the host. They never... Where's the host? I thought they always have a WrestleMania host. Big E, let me say this before we get out of here. I know I'm running a little long. Big E got injured last Friday. God, what a tragic wrestling weekend. Jesus Christ. Last Friday, Big E of the New Day on SmackDown got dumped on his head on the outside of the ring by Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland is doing an overhead belly-to-belly suplex, and it shouldn't be. I didn't care for it, obviously. Big E's neck is broken, but he won't need surgery, and it looks like he's not going to be paralyzed. I don't know, is he wrestling again? It doesn't look, we don't know. But he's in good spirits, and an awesome outpouring of support and love for Big E, which is great. I hate having to see any of that. Because what a forgettable move now if they nailed it. And because Rich Holland seems to he has no arch or pop in the hips, he's just trying to rely on strength, and he's Big E is like a tree, but short. Are you out of your fucking skull? Just wasn't gonna work. But they did it, and if it went off without a hitch, it would be so forgettable, and still a really hard bump for both guys, especially E, and no one would remember or know or care. And it was the first match of SmackDown. Knock it off. Do shit that gets over. Rick Martel took the demolition finish in June-ish, I think, of 88, and took 6 or 9 months off or something. And it was fine. It was a huge deal because we didn't do it in every match. Jake Roberts, DDTs, Ricky Steamboat on a concrete on the outside of the ring. They didn't do it all the time, and there was reason for officials to run out and Steamboat to disappear. And of course, Steamboat's head really cracked open on the floor, unfortunately. But be that as it may, he didn't do it all the freaking time. It all meant something, but I don't know. I just hope Big E's healthy enough to live a good life, whether he wrestles again or not. I don't know. I hate it when fans are so selfish. I hope he wrestles again. Well, shut up. I hope he walks again. Okay, you got yours, and it looks like he'll walk again. But I'm just saying, like, don't. It's not about you. Their sole purpose is not to jump around like circus animals for you. They need to be healthy. These guys are not 40 yet, and they're worried about they got broken necks, for fuck's sake. They didn't do any. Seth and Owens didn't need to do anything like that. The most dangerous thing they did. Hold on a second. So I needed water. The most dangerous thing they did, though, is Seth Rollins actually gave Kevin Owens a backdrop on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Why do you do that? That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. You got the guy in an abdominal stretch and you grab the rope for extra leverage. Then you get a concussion from the angry rush and you get paid with a diet soft beverage on the hardest part of the ring. Hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you get trapped in a headlock. You're worried about smearing your lip gloss. You shoot her off and take a shoulder block. Do a leapfrog, give her a hip toss on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Clap, 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 clap. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.